Well, that's a wrap. 2024 is over. So how did the year end up? And did the end of the year cause people to look back with a little bit less excitement? Find out on this edition of the Video Market Update. So let's look at some of the returns for the year. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is made up of the largest 30 companies, ended the year with about a 13% positive return. The S&P 500, a broader stock market index, ended at about 23%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ closed just under 29% for the year. Those are fantastic gains. In fact, the S&P 500 just had two of the best back-to-back years ever. In fact, the 23 and 24 returns are the two highest combined years back-to-back since 1997 and 1998. So you would think a year that brought a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement. And I think if we look back, we will see that, but in the short term, I think what people are feeling is December was a pretty rough month for the market. We saw pretty big declines and pretty big sell-offs. And so the question is, does that sour people as they review 2024? Now you would look and say, well, is there something greater going on in the end of the year that might come forward into 2025? I think the sell-offs in December were essentially the result of lower volume trading, but more of the trades were sells as people were trying to capture gains by the end of the year. So I'm not sure that's necessarily a systemic issue with the market broadly, but just a slow sell in the market and not a lot of volume meant there's going to be a little bit more volatility on the downward side. Now look at unemployment. Unemployment ended the year at 4.2%. Seeing that the Federal Reserve in September started initiating rate cuts, we know that unemployment will slowly go up, and there is a number that the Federal Reserve is trying to hit, and we haven't hit it yet. If you look at some of the more speculative investments like cryptocurrency, we saw after the result of the election in November, cryptocurrency jumped to over 100,000. But we also saw mortgage demand slow. We saw an expectation for next year that it could be another tough year in the market. We saw credit card defaults jump to its highest level ever. So certainly there was a good year for stocks, for equities. We saw another soft year in the bond market. But overall, the economy performed fairly well. The question is, how are we going to fare in 2025, and what does it look like next year or this year? We're going to know more. We're going to have a little bit more information as data comes in. This is going to be a pretty data-heavy beginning to the beginning of the year. We'll have a review and a little bit of a forecast on the next Video Market Update. But if you have any questions on the year in review, let me know. If not, as always, I hope you make it a great week.